Hey guys, this is Ryart with another tutorial for you guys. So for this one, we're doing something different. It's a portrait. We're doing a full portrait here, but it's going to be kind of abstract. We're going to have some abstract elements in there. So we're painting a portrait of Malenia from Elden Ring. So here I'm painting her without her helmet, actually. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with the game. She has like a lot of scarring on both her eyes, so she can't really see, and there's a lot of scars on her eyes. Um, so this is the abstract element that I'm using for that, because it's just going to be so many different colors there. A lot of dark colors, a lot of mid-tones, maybe just a hint of lights. But as you can see, like I immediately started off with that abstract style, basically just trying to put in that scarring, making it look like it's a scar. You guys probably can't tell at all what I'm doing here, just by this what this looks like. And that's basically what's going to happen when you're trying to paint something abstract. You're not going to really know what you're doing, until you get at least most of it done in, and then you can actually see what's going on. But the trick here really is just to try to layer these colors together. I'm not really blending, and that's what's keeping it abstract, is by just throwing those colors in there and not blending. That'll keep it abstract, and it'll look like it has texture to it. And you'd use the same technique really if you're like trying to add texture to clothing, or let's say you're trying to draw metal, or even like rust, or like something maybe grotesque. Using that abstract technique is really useful for those kind of things. And it's basically just not blending, because if you blend, then it's just you're taking all the texture out, and you're just making it flat and smooth. That's what blending does, which is perfect if you have if you want to have that porcelain, like you guys see drawings with that has like that porcelain looking face of different models that people draw. Then you guys see them especially with like graphite artists. They're always using these brushes to smooth everything out, leaving no texture at all. It's just having that flat porcelain look, and essentially that's what blending does. So if you don't blend, then you're gonna have a lot of texture, a lot of brush strokes in there. You can achieve the same thing with pencil as well. Just don't blend. Which is something I like to do. Actually, when I used to do graphite, I actually didn't blend at all. I would just use the pencil as is, and not blend at all. I didn't use a blending stump or any of that. And now you guys can kind of see it coming out. Now that I have the first eye in there, and I'm working on the second eye, and I'm still using that same technique. Just basically what I'm doing here is I like putting in my darks first, just to give me an idea of kind of give me a map of what to do. So because the scarring is going to be like a really dark color, and then I go in there with some mid-tones and some lights, and again, just no blending involved, just trying to just layer it in there to make it kind of look grotesque. And I'll probably do another video on painting metal. That was originally the video I was going to make for this, but for some reason I kind of had an inspiration to make something a little bit more grotesque, I guess, with like scar tissue and whatnot. So I thought it would be fun to do this one, and it was kind of a pain. You guys will see later in the video that it took a while to do the hair. So there's definitely some very complicated hair in this painting here. And then here I'm adding that same scar technique, abstract technique within the forehead area as well. So you guys can see I put in both eyes, and so now I'm working on the forehead. So you can kind of get an idea of how I work here. Usually I start with the eyes and then I move. Usually I'll jump to the nose after that. But since the forehead was using the same colors, I guess, and then there's some abstract elements in there as well, so I just wanted to get that out of the way quickly. And for you out there who are struggling with accuracy and proportions, usually I just try to layer in that first eye, and then the eye after that. And basically, once you have that in there, that little area, then you can kind of figure out where everything else goes next. And now here we're beginning to work on the nose a little bit. Noses are pretty hard because they do have like a lot of different tones to them, a lot of different shades of color. Just depends on how the light is hitting it, on which angle and whatnot. So they're pretty hard. So I don't fault you guys if you're having trouble painting your noses. And unfortunately, it's just one of those things that require a lot of practice. You're not going to just get it the first time right away. And I'm even me, like I'm still making mistakes here and there. I'm still adjusting like colors and whatnot as I go along. So like I'll fill it in, just make an indication that there's a nose there. And then I'll go over it several times, adjusting different colors and whatnot until it looks right. But usually I like to begin with the nostril. I just like to put it in there just to indicate where it's at. And then once I have that in there, then I can map out where the rest of the parts of the nose is, such as the cartilage, the frontal of the nose, and then figure out where the shadows are going to be, where the lights are going to be, and once I put those in, then I come back and adjust them. But I'm always jumping around. You see, I just went back to the eye and then back to the forehead area. So I try not to focus on one single area just solely at a time. I'm just always jumping around. And that helps you, because if you're just focusing on one area for, let's say, 10, 20 minutes, then you kind of start to lose focus and you can't really see what you're doing anymore. So it's good to just jump around sometimes here and there just to relax your eyes a bit. And it's also really good to move away from the painting and look at it from a distance, and immediately you can see what could be wrong with it, where you could be off. And another technique I like to use also is to take your painting and put it up in front of a mirror. That way it'll be reflected in a different direction. It'll be mirrored basically, and then you could see more things that you might not have seen it beforehand. Like proportions could be off, or certain colors, certain tones don't look right. So it helps you see things that you wouldn't normally see otherwise. And now here, as you can see, we're starting on the lips, and it's basically the same thing. So for this one, I just went in with the darks, just to map out again where everything needs to be. Putting in those darks first just really helps out. It really helps tell you where everything else goes after that. So the darks are pretty important. I highly recommend you guys try that out. Just go in with the darks, whatever it is you're doing. You could be doing lips, nose, or eyes, or whatever. Just going with the darks first, and immediately you'll be able to imagine where everything else needs to go after that. of course the hair was very tough for this one, even for me, even after doing hair for so many years. But doing hair it can be easy, you know, because you got to always remember hair. You're not drawing strands. You're not drawing strands of hair. You're just drawing the whole thing. Okay. So you have to look at hair as just like clumps of different colors, different shades. The thing that makes hair very tricky is that it requires so many different shades of color, because the light just hits it a certain way where it can produce so many different colors, and all those, and you have to have all those colors. Unfortunately, you can't just do it with one color or two colors. Maybe you can get away with three colors, but it can be tricky. It won't look as real, I guess. But here I used maybe, I don't know, like maybe 5 shades of red. I did have some reds pre-mixed, but I ended up having to make different other shades just to make it look better. And I apologize for the little glare there. I still have to work on my lighting issues. But yeah, hair was very tricky on this one. But you guys can kind of see what my technique is here. It's the same thing essentially, almost like the abstract technique that I'm using, that I used earlier, where I'm basically just throwing in the colors and not really blending. I blend a little bit into them just to just make it look more realistic. But I'm basically just adding in where I think those colors should go. And once I got that in there, I just continue on, add more colors, blend a little bit if needed. But your important color for this one, for hair in general, is going to be those darks. Get those darks in there, and your highlights are going to be the most important as well. Those two things, your darkest darks and your lightest lights, are going to be most important for hair. It's to make it look as realistic as possible there. And then here we're starting off with the armor. I honestly could have done better with the armor. I could have added so much more detail, but I just wanted to, I think at this point I was maybe at 7 hours in. Yeah, so you guys are seeing these videos like, 30 minutes, or if you only watch my shorts, my shorts are like 30 seconds or something, and you guys see me just painting this whole portrait in, a few seconds or whatever. It's actually hours. I think I spent maybe 6 to 7 hours on this particular portrait. And I'm just, going back and fixing things that I don't like. So I'm not a magician by any means. Making a good portrait takes a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of effort, blood, sweat, and tears, as they say. So you guys have to put in that work if you want to, make something decent. But yeah, as I was saying, the armor could have been so much better, but I kind of just rushed through it. Just because I think I just got tired after sitting for 7 hours and just going in and making this. So I kind of just wanted to rush and finish it. But you guys, if you guys do decide to paint something with armor, I think my next painting might have some armor. So we'll see. Maybe I'll spend more time on that one just to show you guys how it's done. But yeah, here definitely I could have added more, but I kind of just added. I went with that abstract look again, just to show you guys. You don't really need to add detail. There's no such thing as detail, really. It's the illusion of detail that makes a painting look good. So like from a distance, it might look like the armor's detailed, but if you look up close, you see nothing. Because just that abstract technique makes it look like it's detailed, but it's really not. And it's really a trick. It's an illusion. So I'll try to go more in depth into that once I do my next painting, which will probably have some kind of armor. So we'll see how that goes. But here I quickly just put the colors in, and there was some, very little blending, but I just throw those colors in there just to get all the other colors in there and make it look like armor. Make it look like it's tarnished and beat up. And the way to do that is just, you can blend, but not too much. You want to leave that texture in there. You want to make it look messy. And here I'm picking up the sketchbook because I have that little ridge at the bottom there that obscures me from painting the bottom part, unfortunately. But yeah, I have to pick it up at every time I get to the bottom there. Kind of annoying, but it has to be done, maybe. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial here. I hope you guys got something out of it. I'm going to be making a ton more. And if you have any suggestions on something in particular you want to see, maybe a particular character. I did see someone comment they wanted to see some Star Wars stuff, so maybe I'll do that as well. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone you love, or share it with another artist that loves art, Thank you guys. So I'll see you on the next video.